spirit of adventure allows us to learn life skills and attributes in a thrilling way. So, when we all learned about the first ever PSG Everest Base Camp expedition, we were all very eager and yearning to be a part of something we knew would push us out of our comfort zones.
The selection team went through a lot trying to find the perfect selection of students. After first round of selection, we had a fitness test including running, push-ups and more, which was tough.
Padmashri Mr. Ajit Bajaj, who organized our Everest Base Camp expedition, addressed the students of Pathway School Gurgaon, sharing his sense of adventure and how that molded life and outlook. He briefed us on the types of challenges we will encounter and the difficulty level of the trek. The Aravali Biodiversity Trek was the first time the team had met outside school. It was designed for us to understand the basics of trekking in large groups and was conducted to break the grade boundaries.
Our training started from the instant the team was finalized in August, which helped us increase our lung capacity and build our muscle strength. It was also instrumental in building a never-given attitude, which was greatly helpful in our expedition.
Planning is crucial for any such venture. Our gear was checked in Rishikesh, and the Snow Leopard team went through all of our equipment and gave us advice and insights as to what things will be essential while climbing.
We went to Rishikesh with the purpose to get a basic idea of how it would be during the EBC expedition. Rishikesh itself is rocky terrain, and long hikes were meant to make us getting used to what it would be during the EBC.
In my opinion, the meetings with Captain Bajaj were one of the most crucial aspects to our trek. Without him constantly motivating us and heightening our morale, we would have never done as well as we actually did.
The send-off assembly was an important and necessary part of the trek, as it helped the group to gain a sense of responsibility and the spirit of adventure. During the assembly, the whole school was looking at us and we were developing a sense of pride.
The departure was an emotional moment, as many of us were leaving our parents for the first time, and we were very excited and nervous at the same time. Gathering at the airport created a whole stir, and our hoodies were gathering so much attention. But as we took off, we felt so free, energized, and we could not have been more excited and eager to land and start our trek.
Reaching Kathmandu was a point of no return. At this point, we had already all reconnected and were starting to mentally prepare for what was ahead of us. After the airport, we went for a delicious lunch in the city where we got served a traditional Nepali meal. The excitement in the room is one we will never forget.
Landing in Lukla was a relief as the plane ride was rattling and bumping the whole duration. After a delicious lunch at Lukla, we headed out for the first trek of the expedition towards Phagding. The trek was the first time we saw connecting ridges and yaks.
Phagding was our first stop to the Everest Base Camp. We stayed there for one day to acclimatize better for a trek to Namche Bazaar. In the evenings, we all had interactions with some trekkers about our trek to Everest Base Camp.
We left Phagding early and headed towards Namche Bazaar. We got a first glimpse of Mount Everest alongside Kumjung. The sights of the mountain was inspiring. A very steep acclimatization walk to the Everest viewpoint gave us an unimpeded view of multiple different peaks, many of which were identified.
After acclimatizing once at the Everest viewpoint, we knew that we had to go further than this to reach our next destination of Kumjung. And we knew that this would not be an easy task. But this trek was absolutely beautiful because Mount Everest was right in our sight, and seeing it constantly made it feel closer than ever. After we reached Kumjung, we realized that the altitude was getting a little high. Some of us started feeling headaches and even nausea, but that did not stop us from going to our next destination of Tengbuche. The trek was difficult, yet we still continued, and as we reached, we saw one of the most beautiful sights of the Tengbuche monastery.
After our departure from Tengboche, we had a relaxing downhill walk which felt like a reward after the intense climb of yesterday. For about 2 hours towards Tengboche, as we walked towards our destination, Captain Bajaj talked to us about the flora and fauna. As our trek continued, we could notice the gradual decline in the number of trees and the wind getting colder.
Everything about the day we were trekking to Loboche was a roller coaster ride for us, right from the start until the very end. The team gave their best to reach the destination despite experiencing extreme breathlessness. No one could let the team down.
Trekking to Gorakhshev felt never-ending. The trek seemed one of the toughest due to the wind, cold and AMS symptoms which we were facing. The team spirit kept us going.
After countless hours of trekking on tough terrain and high altitude, we finally reached our final destination, the Mount Everest Base Camp. It all felt worth it in the end, and we all felt a sense of achievement and accomplishment. By the time we left Mount Everest, the sun set. The conditions became pitch dark and it became negative 20 degrees Celsius.
We took off from Gurgaon early in the morning, all full of excitement and a sense of achievement. We crossed Lobuche soon after we started, and the memories hit so hard. It was unbelievable that just 2 days ago we were all sitting there planning our journey to EBC. After walking like what felt forever, we reached our non-stop at Thakla Pass. We trekked in the dark for approximately 1 hour through rocky, uneven mountain to get to the village of Pangboche.
Reaching Monjo felt like a reward. We entered the village late in the evening after climbing approximately 100 stairs. We had reached our awaited destination after a long trek. It was a special Nepali holiday that day which we got to witness. The excitement and joy of the children we will always cherish. The day after Monjo, we trekked to Lukla, the final trek of the expedition. We enjoyed it and ended it with a high note. Entering the inn, we experienced deja vu. The day we had landed, we had stayed in the same inn. The water was finally warm and we could clean up for the first time in a while. What a feeling! Never knew we could be so excited for a shower.
After the turbulent flight from Lukla and scenic bus ride from Ramichop, we finally reached back to Kathmandu. The next day, we went sightseeing to the stupa and visited some traditional handicraft shops, which enlightened us about the Buddhist culture and beliefs. We returned back to their hotel, ate lunch, and left for the Kathmandu airport.
On stops or visits throughout the treks, we got an insight into Nepalese culture, whether it was meeting the local kids of Nepal, visiting the Tangboche monastery, or the Buddha stupa. On entering the Tangboche monastery, it was enriching to see the colorful detailed walls filled with decades of history as the monks sang their prayers.
Reaching the Delhi airport, we received a royal welcome with toes and garlands, flowers, and all the parents waiting for their children. It was heartwarming to see Miss Nihara, Raju sir, and Sumit sir waiting along with the parents to welcome us.
The purpose of Everest Base Camp expedition was to learn to be mission-driven and step out of our comfort zones, to help us discover our potential and the extent of our limits, to build and nurture lifelong relationships by virtue of this experience, to develop a spirit of perseverance, determination, and strength of character. While the destination is very significant, it is a journey that matters. To reflect on the journey and the impact of it on character building that took place during this life-changing experience, and to experience hope.